Yeah,
And how is he a Golden Bachelor? Let's be honest here. This is not golden.
Young.
He's silver at best.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to your first ever Golden Bachelorette recap. Dear Shandy recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Well done.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing quite well.
Oh.
Oh, yes, in Ireland is what I am.
So we are in Ireland. We're in Wexford for the Wexford Opera Festival. Mm-hmm. I'm doing an opera here. But I have to say the Irish accent is not as consistent and easy to place as I expected it.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. But I will say this. Ireland, the nicest people I've ever seen in my life anywhere in the world.
Agreed.
They are so nice that I actually feel a little stressed out.
That's so New York of you.
I can't leave the house without being on my like on the top of my nice game.
Oh, the top of the morning.
Yeah, there can't be any just kind of like cold stares as people pass.
No,
everything's got to be friendly.
Yeah, you know, it was so cute. I was walking home from rehearsal last night, and there was this beautiful moon, and this woman was right at the front of her picket fence. And about 2 meters away, she was like, "I don't mean to scare you. I'm just looking at the moon. It's very beautiful." And it was so sweet that she warned me, because it would have been scary if I walked right past her and suddenly there was a person there in the dark.
She's staring at the moon.
Yeah, she's like, "I don't mean to scare you. I'm just warning you." And she's like, "And look at the moon." And I stopped and I looked at the moon. I was like, it is a beautiful moon. It was just such a nice interaction.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I brought Ruby to the grocery store just now to get some stuff. And you're not allowed technically to have dogs in the stores in Ireland. But I walk in, I was really nervous. So I put her in my arms. I was like looking around trying to sneak in. And every single person who was a customer and who worked there stopped to be like, "Oh, what a darling lass. Oh, so beautiful, this pup."
Yeah.
Everybody.
She's getting a lot of attention.
Girl.
She's getting a lot of attention here. Okay, before we get going, I do want to mention that during this Golden Bachelorette season, plus my opera rehearsal / performance time, regular programming is most likely going to be every other week. Stay tuned on Instagram for announcements there, just because I don't have any more bandwidth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is a lot to juggle as it is. So yeah, check Instagram for updates there. Okay, shall we get going? Recapping. Oh, so that's our housekeeping.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big housekeeping.
Yeah, big housekeeping.
And big thumbs up to Ireland.
Yes.
By the way.
Yeah, our first time in Ireland ever. And we're here for quite some time until November.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, we think we might rent a car at one point.
Yes.
All right.
Explore the countryside. Maybe go to Limerick.
Ooh. I would love that.
A fun sounding town.
Dingle.
There's also Dingle.
Yeah, everyone keeps mentioning Dingle.
Yeah, Dingle. And I made a joke to somebody that apparently this time of year is great berry picking there, and they didn't get the joke.
Oh,
I thought that should have been gotten.
I think it was too fresh on your mind because of us talking about dingleberries.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
You teaching me the ways of the dingleberry.
Not everybody is thinking about dingleberries all the time.
Okay, so any other housekeeping? Oh, so for anyone interested in the opera, I'll put the link in the description below if anyone's in Ireland, if we have any Irish shandies.
Or near Ireland.
Yeah, from what I understand, these sell out. This festival's
it's a big festival.
It's really big, yeah. Okay, so shall we get going, Andy?
Let's do it.
Very exciting. Golden Bachelorette.
I'll tell you something. This show within the franchise is a real change in palate.
Yes.
There's a different taste. It's like it's a difference between bitter and sweet.
Yes.
It's sincerity, elocution, and altruism.
Oh.
You like that?
I did.
You don't really like that.
I really like that.
No, but I mean, that's something that we could use more of nowadays.
I mean, especially, are we going to talk about, we don't normally talk about stuff going on outside of the show, but in terms of just being on the tail of Jen's season and what's been coming out in the last few weeks.
What a mess.
And just how horrific it is and how disappointing. And like, it goes beyond disappointing. It's like scary.
Yeah.
Right. And we've had some requests to recap, talk about that stuff. You guys know by now, we don't like cover specifically outside Bachelor like TV show stuff. That's just not really what we do. We like to recap the show. But especially with all that in mind, I think it should go without saying how we feel about all the latest news. And I just feel like I'm catching up to it now. Like every day I'm like, wait, what? What?
That keeps getting worse.
Yeah, it does. But then you have this.
Cleansing of the palate.
Oh my God. The ultimate. It was so feel good.
Can we go back a little bit? I'm not saying go back to everything.
Yeah.
Not everything was good back in that generation. I'm just saying that just the way of being, maybe take a little cue, just a little, like take a little of the seasoning of that generation and sprinkle it on what's going on.
Well, that's
now.
why, okay, maybe this is me being idealistic. I do have a bit of this in me, but I would like to think that some younger generations will watch Golden Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette and be like, oh, that's actually a good way to be.
Yes. Maybe they'll take cues.
Yes.
Maybe they'll be like, I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to follow Guy.
Yeah.
Or Dan.
Or Gil.
They all have short names.
Yeah,
there's no long names back then. Yeah. It's like, I don't have time for this. I got 3 jobs. Your name is Guy.
But what was your point, though?
Huh?
They're just going to follow them? Follow in their footsteps?
Oh, right, right.
Distracted by their short names.
No, I was going to say they could take some cues, just like, like, oh, that's the way that's a good way to act.
Yeah,
that's a good way to talk to a woman, or that's just a good way to talk to my fellow men.
Yes, and there's something so refreshing about it being in the now, because I feel like traditionally you'd see like an old movie. Yeah. And you're like, oh, 20, 30 years ago, that's how people were then. But like, I can't relate to that. But seeing this now, this is airing now. This is fresh. This is hot off the press.
You rarely get to see real older people on TV.
Yes.
I mean, reality TV.
Yes, reality. And I got to say, they're cool.
They're cool.
How cool were these guys? Like a lot of them were like really cool. Like I would way rather hang out with most of these men than the so-called men on The Bachelorette.
Well, they're cool. And they're also, they're humble.
Yes.
There's a sense of humility, and it's not false. It's like sometimes the humility nowadays, it's like, oh, look, I'm being
humble. Yeah.
Like, look at
Hashtag
me.
humble. See how humble I'm being.
Yeah, I'm more humble than him. But, anyway, enough of this. Yeah. I'm not going to be an old man. What happens is when I I did this with the Golden Bachelor. I became a little bit of an old man.
I love it when you're an old man, though.
But it's going to happen. I'm going to try to hold it back a little bit, but I'm warning you, the old man in me is going to come out.
I'm going to be an old woman. I love this show. Yeah. This show is so vastly superior, and they know it too.
Yeah, they do.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
They brought out the big guns. I mean, they got the song licensing.
Phil
Collins. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Wait, ready? Dun, 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 dun.
I can see that.
Okay. Let's start the recap.
No, not the right song.
It is, but it's terrible. I mean, it's a mess. Sorry, I put you on the spot.
You do it.
Well, you do the drums.
Dun, 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 dun.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Oh, wow. Oh, and I feel like I was set up for failure just now.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
We're not.
We're clearly excited, Andy. So we open with Joan's B-roll. She's getting ready for night 1. She's looking gorgeous. And we get a beautiful photo album now. Real photos, by the way.
I know, actual photos.
Yeah. Of her 33-year marriage to John.
Oh, dear.
This was really beautiful. Also, of course, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. She said, I mean, they just seemed so happy together. You could see it. And then she said one day she looked at him and it was as though she thought something was really wrong with him. Mm-hmm. And then they brought him in to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And as he was dying, she says she lived in denial and she felt her future die with him and she suddenly felt invisible, which was really her theme. I mean, I remember her saying that on Gary's season about how you reach a certain age or whatever and suddenly the world doesn't see you anymore. And it really resonated like with so many of her men. You could see they were like, yeah, I get it. What a beautiful sentiment. And also how beautiful for her to be crowned Bachelorette after having said that. It's like, you're not invisible.
Yeah, we'll show you. You're going to be way less invisible than you're comfortable with.
Okay, here we get the Phil Collins. Okay, so seriously good intro. We agreed that this was flawless.
And we both cried, as usual.
Did we both? Yeah, I did cry. This was my first cry.
I hid it from you, though.
Oh, why?
I just, I'm still a man. I have weird.
Still a man. See, that's when you're being an old man. Andy.
No, I know. That's a bad thing about being an old man. Mm-hmm. So there are bad things.
Yeah, but we saw lots of tears in the previews for the season and it just made me so happy.
Yeah.
Men cry. Real men cry.
There should be, like ASMR videos, there should be just men crying videos.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well, you need context. Otherwise, it's just gratuitous.
No, I don't know. I don't think you need context. Just a good old man, like sitting on a bench on his porch, just having a good cry.
There's something, too, about it being a variety of men instead of just Gary. Because, we learned pretty quickly that Gary was happy. You know, he was a crier. And I loved that about Gary. I have nothing bad to say about him and his crying. I'm not criticizing his crying. But something about seeing a variety of men of all walks of life crying.
Yeah.
You know, it was just touching.
That's lovely.
Okay, so Joan and Jesse chat at the front of the mansion, but they waste no time getting to the limo exits. So there are 24 men total, but Andy, we're going to keep with our tradition and go through our limo exit wins and fails. So who is your limo exit win, Andy?
So there were a few contenders. Mm-hmm. For old-timey's sake, the camcorder video guy.
Okay.
Who was that?
That was Bob, 66. Bob. He is the chiropractor who was hit by lightning.
I know. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then there's Keith with the station wagon. I thought that was cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Just overall good cuteness, old-timey cuteness. Mm-hmm. And then my winner though is Charles L.
Oh, okay. 66, the retired data analyst.
And simply for saying Charles not in charge. I was done. That sent me.
Charles L is a star.
Charles not in charge.
Oh, he was
with
so
absolute
great.
Seriousness.
Yes.
That was his zinger.
He came out, he said, I'm 66 years old, but I look like 36.
If he doesn't say so himself.
His wife of 36 years passed away 6 years prior. We got a little intro video from him in his limo exit. He says, Charles not in charge. Joan, you're in charge forever. Trust me.
Oh, Charles. I mean, this guy. If something bad happens to this guy, I'm going to have issue. This guy, I want this guy to have an easy time on this show.
Yeah, me too. I don't want anything bad to.
No.
We must protect Charles L at all costs.
I want Charles L to be in charge.
And after his limo exit, so he goes into the house, there's a clip from his ITM where he says, I'm pretty happy. I think she likes me.
Amazing. Gems left and right, just tossing them out.
Okay, so my runner-up. I kind of am jealous. I should have put Charles L up there. He was too cute. He was like too much.
Too much. It was too much. It was not fair.
Yes.
Yeah,
he transcends a limo exit win.
Yeah.
Okay, he's too good.
Yeah.
My runner-up was actually Guy with the cologne. So this is the 66-year-old ER doctor. He was talking about pheromones and sense of smell, and he said that sometimes someone will be brought in. I thought this was a really discreet, elegant way to mention what he does without it being like, hey, I'm an ER doctor. The way, you know, there's someone else did a bit of that. There was someone who was a bit like, oh, it was Pascal, who I felt multiple times found ways to allude to how well off he is.
Yeah, Pascal bridges both generations. Yeah. He's getting a little into the Gen Y.
Is that what it is? Or is it European? Ness.
I mean, maybe it is a European-ness.
Yeah.
But it's not a good European-ness.
No,
it's too much. He went too far.
But here's the thing. He's a salon owner. Like, this is his thing. He's a shtick. He's debonair.
It's too shticky.
Maybe for us, but I think that it probably really works in his industry. But for me, I found the not so subtle references to like, I have the means to blah, blah, blah. This is something I'm really sensitive to. Yeah. It always bothers me.
Pascal is a little bit of a cheese ball.
Let's
be honest. But not in like the American way. He's a Euro cheese. He's like a
good cheese.
A fromage.
Okay, so I liked how Guy mentioned the sense of smell thing. And then he brings out a cologne. He's like, smell this cologne. Like, when you smell this cologne, I want you to think Guy. And
my God, you know who he is? He's Pepe Le Pew. He's Pepe Le Pew. He's the guy that they made Pepe Le Pew after.
I also appreciate, though, how Pascal could make fun of himself. Because when other people later on were making fun of his accent, someone was like, oh, this fake accent over here. You know, I feel like a guy on The Bachelorette today, a young guy would be like, this is my real accent.
That's the difference. The Pascal of today doesn't take that joke well. The Pascal of yesteryear takes it brilliantly.
He's like, don't kid around. I've worked hard to keep this accent.
He's a grown man. He's a grown fromage.
That was such a good comeback. I've worked hard to keep this accent.
Amazing. He won me there was a few things that got me with him, and he won me back on that.
100%. That comeback was so self-aware. He rolled with the punches. Yeah, no, okay, we like Pascal. I don't mean to diss on Pascal.
Yeah,
he's just clearly going to be an interesting character. Yeah, sort of
sorry,
like.
You were talking about the limo exit.
Speaking of characters, though, there was another character that is Jack.
Yeah, but we were talking about the limo exit.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to get back to that.
I'm so
chronological order.
Okay, sorry. I'm so into these men that I keep like going off on tangents. Okay, I just liked Guy's cologne thing. Yeah. I was actually shocked that it had never been done before. And I think there was something kind of like, I think smelling things together, like nice things together is like, there's something sexy about that. And it was just sort of like unexpected, but also so simple. And I was just shocked that no one had ever thought of this before. So that was a runner-up.
Well, you know what's great about smell? Smell is one of the senses of, it's sound and smell are the two senses of invisible things.
Yeah.
Which are the most powerful.
Yes.
I think music is the most powerful, and smell is, to me, the second or tied for first most powerful. Yeah. Where smell brings back the most intense memories.
Yes.
And I think you can really bond over smells.
I agree. Yeah.
You can say, hey, this smell reminds me of that thing. You're like, this smell reminds me of that thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I still hunt down certain smells.
Yeah.
In fact, how should we tell this story? The perfume story?
We probably have already.
I don't know if we have.
It's a good theme because it's older people, so we're telling stories again.
Okay, this is an actual story. One of the perfumes I wear, Andy and I were walking through the streets of Soho, and this woman walked by, and she smelled divine. And she kept walking, and Andy, you were like, that smell, like it's a smell from my childhood. Like that's the most beautiful smell. Like I can't get over that smell. And I was like, yeah, I really liked it too. I was like, I want to know what perfume she was wearing, especially since you were going so wild over it. I mean, I've never seen you go so crazy over a perfume. And so at first I was like, no, I feel dumb. I'm not going to ask. And then of course, like 2 blocks later, I'm like, I am going to ask. And so I like bolted back. I ran 2 blocks back towards this woman. And I was like, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I must know what perfume you're wearing. It smells so good. And she gave me this look. She was like, so any of our listeners who are not watching, she gave me this look that was like, almost disturbed because she was like, well, this is the name of it. And it's so weird you're coming up to me because it's supposed to be like a pheromone perfume. It like mixes with your natural pheromones to make like this unique scent. And so I think that she had been sold that and probably didn't think it was legit until suddenly like a woman's running down the street to ask her the name of her perfume.
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, this is a TV commercial.
Yeah, I know. We should get them as a sponsor. Yeah. Anyway.
It's almost too heavy-handed.
Yeah, it is too heavy-handed. So what was our point? Just scent?
Oh, sound and smell are the 2 most powerful, I think, senses, and they're both invisible.
Yes.
Says something.
Yes.
Anyway,
okay. So Guy was my runner-up, and my winner was same as yours, Andy. Not Charles L, because he transcends the win. It was actually Bob, the old school video camera. Yeah. I thought this was cute.
Super cute.
They showed it through that. Right. That might have been an effect.
Of course it was an effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It might have been an effect, but like a filter, but it instantly brought me back. It felt so nostalgic in such a good way.
That's nice.
And let's talk fails. Do you have any? I don't have any.
I mean, for me, honestly, the closest thing to a fail was the rancher whose horse ran away, but that was pretty funny. Yeah,
actually, I would agree mainly in that I didn't get enough sense of humor over the fact that his horse had run away. Maybe he was actually really upset, and so I should.
Yeah, maybe he lost his horse.
Yeah,
maybe he has like posters around town, like "This is my horse."
That might have cost him.
Let me know.
What was meant to happen was he was supposed to. I think he was supposed to bring Joan over to ride the horse with him, pet the horse, engage with the horse, and then the horse was gone.
Right,
and he ended up going home.
Yeah, that ruined his exit.
Yeah,
the horse kind of sunk him.
Yeah.
He's going to have a talking to that horse.
So he's our mutual fail. I feel bad saying that. No one was a fail.
There's no fails.
Everyone was lovely.
You keep her this and you keep her that. Why not keep her your money? How about that?
Yes, I want to keep her my money. How about with tax deductions?
How about with AI-driven tax deductions?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. As a small business owner, this is a nice piece of software.
Oh,
this has made my life easier. It's given me money. Actually, I can see my savings in real time.
Keeper is the kind of app that I have been wanting for the last 15 years of my life. Yeah. With Dear Shandy, we're technically business owners, right? Yeah. This is our little business. Yeah, and as a singer, as a freelancer, keeping track of expenses, of tax deductible expenses is such a nightmare. And often you don't even know what to do, right? You're like holding on to receipts. You're like, do I need this? Do I need this hard copy receipt? How about keeping up with the times, Andy? Downloading Keeper, you connect your credit card, your accounts, your tax info, and then get this, Keeper automatically tracks your deductions for you using AI.
And it organizes them so well. I don't have to make these charts anymore.
No.
I've done charts on software called Mexcel. I have many Mexcel charts for my taxes, and now I have Keeper.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, Keeper has saved me money. It's kind of fun.
Would you say it's a
Keeper?
I'm sorry.
We can keep going with that.
Sorry.
I mean, we should keep going.
I couldn't resist.
Should we keep her going? On average, Keeper users get an extra $1,200 in their pocket.
Yes, back in their pocket.
Back, right, because it would have taken out.
Yeah.
It was back in.
It was saved.
Yeah.
It was prevented from leaving their pocket, which is the same as making $1,200.
$1,200.
It's honestly such a good idea. If you are a freelancer, contract, business owner, you work for yourself, Keeper is your companion.
So you can now utilize the power of AI to automate your expense tracking.
Find tax deductions and get a way bigger tax refund next year.
For a limited time only, our Shandies can try Keeper for free.
With our exclusive link, keepertax.com/Shandy, and get 10% off your subscription if you love it.
Again, that's a free trial and 10% off your subscription at keepertax.com/Shandy. So Sharleen, I was taken aback once more.
Okay, this actually happened. Okay, so I went and changed into my Skims t-shirt for the Skims ad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat down and you were staring at me and I was like, oh, what's wrong? Is something amiss? Like, is something sticking out or looking weird or I don't know.
Something is kind of sticking out.
Not in place. And you were like, I'm looking at you. You look so pretty. And it was because I had changed into my Skims top.
Skims does it to me every time. I'm a sucker for Skims.
It's outrageous. Like I put on something Skims and you're like, you look cute.
I mean, I don't know what that means, but it is what it is.
It is because Skims fits so well. It hugs in all the right places. They understand fit and fabric. And trust me, when I say that I have tried a lot of basics in my day and they just don't understand those two things. They might understand one, but not the other. You're like, oh, I love this tank, but why is it cut like that? Or another shirt, you're like, oh, this is the perfect cut, but why does the fabric so crappy? Skims marries the two. Their basics are on fire. I'm wearing their Cocoa Seamless Smoothing t-shirt right now. I'm a huge fan of their soft lounge collection. You guys have heard me rave about their soft lounge. I have a bunch of their tank tops, the ribbed soft lounge tanks. The cut, I'm telling you, the armhole cut, the neckline cut, the length. You can never have too many basics. That's a thing. Look, I'm wearing right now like sort of masculine trousers and I'm wearing the same t-shirt with these pants that I might wear with jeans, with leggings, with a skirt, with overalls. It's so versatile.
And it's an insult to call it basics. I like to call it basics with an X at the end.
Basics.
So shop the Skims Soft Lounge collection at skims.com.
Now available in sizes extra, extra small through 4X.
And if you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you.
After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and Dear Shandy in the drop-down menu that follows.
For Farm Fresh Skincare Pharmacy.
Yes, Andy. Pharmacy. You know, this is a brand. When it became a possibility of being a sponsor, I was vibrating with excitement because I was already a pharmacy fan. I already owned a few products.
And it's made from honey from a family-owned farm in California. And all their ingredients are farm fresh, literally.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
If you want stuff in your body from a farm, why wouldn't you put stuff in your skin from a farm?
Why not?
If you want stuff in your body from a farm, why wouldn't you put stuff in your skin from a pharmacy?
So Pharmacy makes formulations using real farm fresh ingredients combined with potent science. We love science here. Science and active ingredients for clinically proven results. We're talking fresh apples, papaya, and honey. Honey is their hero ingredient. Plus the eco-conscious packaging. This is huge for me. It's sustainable.
And they work with Feeding America to reduce food waste and donate to communities in need.
Yes, isn't that nice? A company
This is a nice
company. Yes, they're doing a little bit of everything, all for a better world,
and also a more dewy world. Because I will be honest, I have noticed a dewiness, an increase in dewiness in this household.
Yes. increased dewiness.
Yes, the dewy meter has gone up.
The dewy meter.
Noticeably.
I really am a believer. And that essence you're holding, in the morning, I feel that it leaves my skin like feeling plush and hydrated all day, regardless of what treatments I'm using. And in the evening, because overnight is when you often do your more hardcore skincare routine. And I love putting that on first because it just helps my skin handle it. Plus, it takes off the day. That stuff. I'm obsessed with this. The hydrating essence. Seriously, try this. And I challenge you to not be converted from whatever hydrating toner you're using. Because a lot of hydrating toners, it's like, okay, it's hydrating, but that's it. This you put on, not only is it hydrating, but it also takes off so much gunk, even after you've cleansed. It made me realize how badly I needed it in my life.
It made you realize how dirty you are.
Yes.
So drench your skin in honey hydration.
Visit pharmacybeauty.com and use code Shandy to get 20% off your order.
That's 20% off your order at pharmacybeauty.com with code Shandy.
Okay, so now Joan arrives, gives a great speech about how she went into this experience originally wanting love, but not really deep down thinking she deserved it or would find it. And then she credits Gary with making her feel visible again. So beautiful. And she's barely able to toast the group. In fact, I don't think she does toast the group because Pascal quickly whisks her away. Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
He moves in for the kill. So some notable one-on-one time with Pascal. He says he's spontaneous. He insists he's there because of her, no one else. And he reads her a card his son wrote him on Father's Day when he left for the show. Andy, you said this guy's a real smooth talker.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I said I don't love how he alludes to how much money he has. This is just a sensitivity I have.
It's almost endearing. Honestly, like the way he does, it's almost endearing. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that there are more discreet ways to be like, oh, I'm so fortunate to have reached a point in my life where I can live my dreams or something like that.
Nice.
When someone's like, I have the means to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Okay, so now we have Dan. So they sit down and she's like, you're from Naples, Florida. And he was like, yeah, like, good job. You remember. And she was like, oh, well, you know, you're someone that I remembered. And he's like, oh.
That's a nice moment we've had. That was great.
We both laughed so hard. He was like, oh, that was nice. This is a nice moment we're having. It was so great. This made me fall in love with Dan.
Now I'm a big fan.
Yeah. You know, he had like a fourth wall moment there.
Yeah, he was very cute.
Very cute.
When a grown man is cute, it's a good thing.
Yes, he was cute.
It's cute.
He was not debonair.
No.
He was not overly charming. He's charming in his way.
Your feet.
No, but
he's not that guy in the cover of a romance novel.
A romance?
A romance novel. A romance novel.
Yes.
A romance novel.
Yes.
A romance novel.
But I agree, like he's cute. Something about Dan was cute. And we learn here that he has been a single dad to 2 girls for 14 years. Turns out one of them he adopted as, I guess, a grown-up.
I guess so.
She was.
Sounds like it.
He said that she had never had a father. We didn't get many details there, but we did see her video later on when they do the video portion. And I thought this was so beautiful. Like he seems like a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's not loaded. I really
no,
didn't mean
I agree.
Okay, so now we have a montage of one-on-one time with each Greg, where they sit in a vacation setting. Thought this was cute. Gil, they play baseball. Charles K, they race scooters. This was cute. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of the word cute in these recaps, just warning you. And Gary, they talk on the phone, and that brings us now to Jordan. Okay, so Jordan is our resident, I would say, neurotic character.
What are you saying?
I mean, in a very endearing way. Yeah. I like Jordan a lot, but he's going on and on. It almost bothered me that he kept doing this. He kept going on and on about how terrible his entrance was.
I don't remember his limo exit.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened. It must have not been that big a deal.
It wasn't. There was nothing. What I wrote down was he said her selflessness spoke to him. Yeah. And he has 3 daughters, and her having left to, care for her daughter, he would have done the same thing. What was wrong with that? Know. He was one of those people that draws attention in a negative way to something that...
Whereas no one was thinking about his exit, but now they are. Now I'm like, wait a minute, what was wrong about his exit?
Overly self-deprecating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think that's usually a good thing, but I think it can be it can work against you in this environment.
True.
Yeah. Like I referred to him as neurotic.
Well, it's like how when you say words, your body doesn't know whether you're being truthful or false.
Yes.
So it just says, oh, I'm a bad person, then I'll be a bad person.
Yeah. My limo exit was atrocious, to use his word. Atrocious. Yeah. Atrocious. I want him to ease up on himself.
Yeah. Maybe he hasn't seen other limo exits.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Joan is so comforting here. She makes sure he knows that everyone feels like they black out. And I can attest that this is true. They play pickleball and the rest of the men join in. We get our money shots of all the guys playing and the balls are in the air.
There were no balls flying jokes.
No. Jack, meanwhile, gives a hilarious tour of the house.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is definitely one of the nicest houses I've seen. And the highlight is Charles L. investigating the kitchen. He's like, oh, it's real. This was so cute.
I know.
How great are they?
They must have so much good B-roll with this cast that they just don't know what they're like. They're just like, oh God, what do we do? They're like flipping coins left and right. What are they going to do with these people?
Why is it that we can't get B-roll like this from newer contestants?
I don't think there's that much good B-roll.
So you're telling me that they're not wandering around the house like, wow, this is like a real Le Creuset pot.
Probably not. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're leaning into the kind of like sort of older man observations.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think night one, like I didn't have a camera. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I wasn't investigating. I mean, you're night one in the Bachelor Mansion. You don't know if you're sticking around. Like I was fully like sniffing around that house.
Yeah, why not?
Come on, you would too. I was like looking looking at things, touching things, but no camera was following me for my commentary. I wasn't saying it out loud. Maybe I should have been. Yeah. But I feel like they really embraced the fact that these guys were just like, I'm on the Bachelorette.
Yeah, I'm
like,
on TV.
Yeah.
I'm in a nice house.
I'm opening this fridge.
Yeah.
So we have some more one-on-one time now. Kim, he's very effusive. So he is the retired Navy captain.
No.
Yes.
Named Kim.
Kim.
You better watch out on that boat, though. If you make fun of him for his name.
Is Kim not an old school man's
I thought
name?
Kim is always a woman's name. I don't know.
I mean, he makes it suddenly, he is so like, he's such a presence.
Well, that's the thing.
That suddenly I'm like, oh, Kim has always been a man's name.
I know. And you better watch out if you make fun of him for having the name Kim. He's going to strike you down.
He's very effusive, says how she left on her season really spoke to him. Family is everything, etc., etc. I thought this was really nice, but I felt he was a little too serious.
A little very serious.
For her.
Very heavy.
Yeah. Not like, and maybe he's not, I mean, he lives in Seattle.
So yeah, Seattle's although I will say.
Oh, are you going to insult
I'm gonna
Seattle?
Say, no. I'm going to say this.
Oh.
I'm going to say that Seattle is strong in many ways. Mm-hmm. One of our favorite cities in the world.
Yes.
In the world.
I know what you're going to say.
Not big on humor. Is that crazy? Not huge on humor. Not huge.
It's a different flavor.
Different flavor.
I think that we struggled in Seattle to find our flavor of humor.
Yeah, maybe it's a flavor.
We
maybe
really
New York and Seattle humor just don't. It's like oil and water. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I would often in Seattle, like as I do, I'd have interactions with strangers and I'd make some joke or something. And I'd say 8 out of 10 times, silence.
Straight face.
Yeah, it became a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever really won it.
Yeah.
I never figured it out.
Except for Kirk Honda.
Kirk Honda got it. Yeah.
Okay, but shout out Psychology in Seattle when we hung out with him and his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got it.
They were on the up and up.
But I know what you mean. Seattle, it was sort of like hard to find that footing. In that little like on the go kind of way, like at the grocery store, at a restaurant, but
Otherwise, Seattle, amazing.
Amazing.
And also, honestly, sometimes I like a not humor filled day. Sometimes a humorless day is good. Like I don't want to have to think about funniness. I just want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Without it being funny. A serious day of enjoyment. In Seattle.
Go and enjoy the weather, seriously. Yeah. Okay, so now Bob, he tells the story of how he got hit by lightning and I guess he was dead for a full 12 minutes.
I mean, that's a long time to be dead. My understanding is after 5 minutes, you suffer like irreversible damage, but this guy is a Superman. I don't know.
Okay, and now Guy, this is thrown into a montage. but it only made me think that he was one to watch even more. And now Mark, this is sincere but brief. In her ITM, he says Joan is like putting on, he said talking to Joan, pardon me, is like putting on a warm, fresh pair of sweats right out of the dryer. Okay, so let's talk about Mark for a second.
Yeah.
Do we think that this has legs? Or is it just, are they just two people in the same place at the same time who are attractive and at similar stages in life? Because they're definitely pushing that, right?
I think it may have legs on this show,
but not outside.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I feel like an elephant in the room this season, especially after what happened with Golden Bachelor, is geography. Like, should we not just be picking our predictions mainly based on their proximity to Maryland?
I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
Like, none of these people are going to leave their families, their grandchildren behind.
I totally agree.
And I don't want to assume, but like, I also wouldn't expect them to.
And, people shit on Gary a lot. And look, for some reasons, maybe they should. I don't know. But the point is that in the end, a big hurdle, as they said on our actual podcast, was the distance.
Yes.
Because when
we'll link that here, by the way, our Love Fest with Gary and Teresa shortly before they announced their divorce. And I'll link it in the description, both. We had a Love Fest with them 2 weeks before they announced, less than 2 weeks before they announced their separation. Yeah. And then we did a divorce announcement episode covering it. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about, but I just want to cover that because I think distance played a huge role in whether or not they could work out. And
that was, I think, what eventually broke the camel's back with them. I mean, you can talk about all sorts of other stuff and point the finger at Gary, but in the end, these are two 70-ish year-old people with families in places that are very far from each other. Like, what do you expect?
Yes. Yes.
They're not 25.
Yeah.
25, you just pick up, you're like, who cares?
Yeah.
You don't even bring your stuff. Just leave your stuff. Say, take it.
Yeah. Well, stuff is stuff. It's just stuff.
Just stuff.
As someone said when we were stressed and packing for this exact trip because we were here for so long, and someone rightfully said, like, just remember your documents. All you need is your ID, your passport. Everything else is replaceable. And it's so true.
Yeah.
All you need, in this case, all they need is their loved ones, and they can't move their entire family. I just feel like this is such an elephant in the room. And it's one of the things that I think makes Love is Blind more possible, more plausible. Like the fact that they will source all these singles from a certain city. Anyway, I thought that maybe that would get addressed a bit more, or maybe they would purposely have like a good number of the cast be from her vicinity.
Good luck. Can you imagine casting this show just from one state? It was probably hard enough from the whole country.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. It's an issue. But you know what? I'm not going to pay attention to that. Okay. I'm not going to let that color my predictions.
Okay.
I'm not even thinking about it.
Okay.
Because I think that's cheating.
Okay. Okay, so next we have Jonathan. They bond over having felt invisible. He recites a poem that he wrote for her.
It was a nice poem. Really I like this poem.
Yeah, I really like Jonathan.
Yeah.
Talk about seeming young for your age and young at heart. I mean, he could pass for like 20 years younger. Ridiculous. It's insane. Okay, so now Jesse drops off the first impression rose, and Pascal is like, what's that? Had I known that was there, I wouldn't have been so nonchalant. Oh, he's a hoot. Yeah. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, you would have been more chalant.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Jack, this is so impressive. He cooks a legit meal for her in this kitchen. We're talking like pork tenderloin medallions or something.
Yeah, the whole thing was crazy. I was getting hungry. I mean, he's a real chef.
Yeah. You could tell he was really at home.
And by the way, I forgot to mention, for the winner for ballsy limo exit was definitely Jack.
Which was his limo exit again?
He sung
My Way.
I mean, that was ballsy. Yeah. And look, he's not a terrible singer.
No, he was
He's like around my level. But
I'm not.
Oh, no response?
No. I want to hear the point you're making.
Okay. No, but that's a ballsy thing to do. Anyway, that was an aside. Yeah. I just want to give him credit where credit's due.
I think you're better.
Thank you.
Personally, but he had a good ear. You both have a good ear. Yeah, this was super ballsy. It, for me, wasn't quite at the level I would give him limo exit win, but factor.
Just pure ballsy.
Yeah,
because he's not a singer.
No, but that made it, honestly, it was more endearing that he wasn't.
Of course.
If he had come out and sung too well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, then he would have been like one of the opera singers on this show.
One of the other opera singers.
I'm not including myself in that. Okay, so now Charles, Elle, they do tea and dessert. So nice. Moving on now to Michael. He shows a photo album of his garden. And this is where I melted.
Oh my God.
I was a puddle. I could not be reformed in human form.
I didn't know what to do with myself.
This was too cute for words. And then you knew the producers were having fun with this, like the editors. He was pointing out his delphiniums. He was like, these are true blue. They're very rare in a garden, very rare in general.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And Joan, for her part, was like, yeah. Like she seemed to really agree.
Oh, yeah. I picked Michael. I picked Michael.
Yeah, he won you over with this.
He's going home with me.
Michael is you when you grow up.
Yeah.
You were 100%.
Yeah, I'll have a photo album of
if one day you have a full garden.
Oh, I'll have a photo album.
Yeah.
And it'll be in an actual album.
Yeah.
Not on the phone.
And I mean, if you had something as rare as a true blue delphinium, you would be bragging about that thing.
Absolutely. Blue there's an amazing story behind real blue. Blue couldn't figure out how to do blue like hundreds of years ago, maybe 1,000 years ago. I don't know. You can correct me on the dates here, but blue was the most expensive paint you could buy. It was gold, blue paint. Wow. It was very, very, very hard to make. And you sometimes see these Renaissance paintings with this amazing blue. And that was like amazing because people are just not used to seeing real blue.
Yeah.
Anyway, blue is a good history of blue as a paint, as a color in general, because it doesn't really occur naturally.
Yeah.
Very rare. Yeah. It's interesting. I know people are looking at me like, we've heard enough about blue. Get on with the recap. No. But I'm telling you, go look up blue, Google blue, paint and history of blue. And it's interesting.
No, that is interesting. Because if you think about the sky being blue, it's not really blue.
No, it's a reflection of the light. That's the light reflecting off the molecules in the atmosphere. But
and then the same with water.
Color is always light reflecting.
Same with water, though. Like the ocean is not actually
clear.
Blue. Yeah.
Yeah. But blue was very hard to make. And when they got that blue, that sweet, sweet blue, that was more expensive than gold. So
how did they do it? You're missing a very key piece of this story.
And I know it. It's somewhere in the part of my brain that's gone to sleep years ago.
Okay.
But
this is where the Shandies come in. Yay.
Yeah, Shandies tell us. Remind me.
Okay, so next we have Keith. So they play cornhole and discover they have plenty in common. They agree about needing to live near water. They both require water, and they agree that finding love takes effort. I mean, this conversation is without contest the most substantial we are shown on night one. Yeah. So first, he came out with that station wagon, like you mentioned. They sat on the hood of the station wagon and chatted. And here, just this conversation, I really love this, how she talks about how they get to represent how finding love at their age is not quote unquote embarrassing, but it's also not something you can just expect to fall in your lap. Like it does take effort. And I really appreciate the specificity of this. Like she's correct. And I think that this actually applies to all ages, if I'm honest, but especially being older for sure. But I think there's this sort of idea, this romanticized idea of finding love, and it's just sort of like, it happens to you. Right. You just happen to meet the person. It's a meet cute. But even when I think of our meet cute, because we did have a meet cute, like we both went to tremendous effort to make that meet cute happen. And I just think that people need to remember that you don't meet someone sitting on your sofa.
No, you don't.
No.
Got to get out of that world.
Yeah, I just thought this was lovely. He talks about grabbing cheese and wine and going to the beach. They have immediate conversational chemistry. I mean, it's so easy. You can smell it through the screen. Yeah. I mean, these two just like, it's like old friends. In his ITM, Keith says that it was fluid and natural. And now we have Chalk.
Where did that happen?
Chalk.
Is that a name or is that a nickname?
Chalk.
There's no way that's a name.
I like saying chalk.
I like it too, but I don't think it's a name. Is it a name? It's a nickname.
I don't know.
Is chalk a name?
I don't know.
It's not a name.
Chalk.
It's something short for something. Like, what's it short for?
Chocolate.
Now that's a name.
He also, when he came out of the limo, he had his what was the soup called? Chock
full of chicken?
Oh, chock-a-noodle.
Oh,
do you think that's actually what he calls it? Or do you think he just wanted to have his name?
No, he calls it that. Chock. So trust me, if your name is Chock, everything that's Chock related is sincere.
Yeah. So Chock, I'm still trying to figure Chock out. I want to make it clear that I like everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone on this season is extremely likable. So I'm not criticizing anyone. But Chock, there was a couple of things he did that I was sort of like, but okay, we'll start with the good stuff. He's very frank about being lonely and how he's like, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
I want to find someone to live these years with, blah, blah, blah. I thought this was really honest and beautiful. But little things like, he's like, well, what's on your bucket list? And she's like, oh, I would love to do an African safari. And he's like, oh, I've been twice. He's like, also Kilimanjaro. And I've done this and I've done that. And he's like, I'm going back next year. You can come if you want. It just felt so like, it felt like a lot.
Yeah, it was, I don't know what that was. It was maybe humble bragging, like a to the death.
But maybe I'm being overly critical because I think the takeaway should be, and this is what I'm choosing to make it, is that Chock is extremely adventurous. He's extremely spontaneous, and he is an adventurer.
Yeah. And in, a
lot of adventurers and well-traveled people love to talk about how adventurous and well-traveled they are.
This is so true. And I don't think what he did in the end was make her feel bad about not ever having gone on safari and made her realize that if they do go on safari, he's going to be like, yeah, whatever, been there, done that. Yeah. And, he climbing Kilimanjaro, that's a big, Kilimanjaro, by the way, tallest freestanding mountain in the world, above sea level. Of course, we already talked about Mauna Kea. Yeah. Anyway, another fun fact. It's freestanding. Doesn't have any other friends. Yeah. It's just boom, in the middle of nowhere. Giant mountain.
Definitely. Very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what was your point with that?
None.
Were you
Zero.
Were you humble bragging your knowledge about freestanding mountains?
That was a segue from the fact that he was humble bragging about Kilimanjaro.
So I think Chock seems like a strong contender, but then the previews made me sort of question things. We'll get there. I don't like it when I allow previews to do that to me. Okay, so now our first impression rose. Joan gives it to Keith. She says he made her feel so comfortable. In her ITM, she says he was warm and easy. And I love this. She says he's quick with a laugh and very sincere. I love this. Someone who laughs freely. I could not agree more.
Quick with a laugh and a light of my smoke.
What's that from?
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Oh, shoot. I know this.
Billy Joel?
I knew this. Piano Man.
Good.
Damn it.
All right. It's okay.
I did know this. She did say quick laugh, not quick with a laugh. I just have to.
That's true.
Just because I'm quoting, I have to be extremely accurate.
I fudged it a little bit.
She really loved the wine and cheese thing. Yeah. Going to the beach. Okay. And now we had a special surprise. They show a video.
Oh, it's quick with a joke. Now I feel bad. Joke rhymes with smoke. So, yeah. I'm gonna do.
Okay. All right. So that was a disaster all around. Yeah. So, Andy, as we've mentioned several times, we are on the road. We are over in Ireland, which is a big trip. And I think it goes without saying that for us to bring a supplement with us overseas like this, we must really value it and take it seriously.
Oh, yeah. Like I didn't bring clothing because of this.
Yes, we have our Fatty 15. Fatty 15 is one of our newest sponsors, and I believe so wholeheartedly in this product. And I think it's really a cool product. Like it's really like a science-y product. So basically, a new study has come out to show why some of us are aging faster than we technically should, resulting in impaired metabolic, liver, and heart health.
This condition is called cellular fragility syndrome, and it's caused by a deficiency in a nutrient called C15, which is in these little pretty capsules.
C15, and Fatty 15, by the way, has one ingredient, it's C15 only. C15 works in multiple ways. It repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown, boosts mitochondrial energy output, and activates pathways in the body that help regulate our sleep, mood, and natural repair mechanisms that support our overall health. C15 has 3 times more nutrients than omega-3 or fish oil.
C15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years.
90
Omega-3 was the last one.
Yes.
Omega-3.
Old news.
And C15 is found in whole milk sources.
Yes.
And a lot of people are going dairy-free or drinking less milk these days, especially whole milk.
Yeah.
And we need this supplement. Like, we're not drinking. I hardly have any milk ever.
I can't remember the last time I had a whole milk thing.
Yeah.
Except maybe ice cream, which I don't think.
I'm not sure. That may outweigh the benefits.
Yeah. And C15 is an odd chain saturated fat. They call it a sturdy fat. And of course, we've all been taught that saturated fat is all bad for you, but C15, it turns out, is a good fat, and it keeps our cells strong. And without enough C15, our cells become more fragile and age faster.
If you want to stay young longer, don't be batty, use fatty 15.
Don't be batty.
So Fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health.
Right now, our Shandies can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit when you go to fatty15.com/Shandy and enter promo code Shandy. That's fatty, FATTY15.com/Shandy, promo code Shandy.
So Sharleen, as you know, I'm a coffee drinker.
Mm-hmm. Only once a day, though, in the afternoon.
Once a day.
Yes.
But there are other times during the day I kind of want a little pick-me-up.
Yes, a boost.
But I don't want to make another cup of coffee. I don't want to drink coffee.
Maybe some fuel.
Some fuel for my day.
Yes.
Maybe some fuel.
I love this name.
Huel. It's a great name.
Not only, okay, I will admit, when Huel first came across the Dear Shandy desk, I was like, okay, an energy drink. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were skeptical.
I was skeptical.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
But then we tasted the difference, and we felt the difference of 133 health benefits, including 27 minerals and vitamins.
Yes. And those 133 health benefits, those support your overall well-being, like your immune system, your cognitive function, hair, skin, and nails, and 200 milligrams of caffeine. This is all in one can. And by the way, that sounds like it would be gross, because, you know, a lot of energy drinks
are gross.
Yeah. Like you're like, oh, that sounds like it would taste good, this whatever flavor. And then you taste it and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, they have delicious flavors, including watermelon. They have blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry is my favorite. I mean, it's both of our favorites.
The blue raspberry.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, blue raspberry brings me back to childhood.
Let's talk about blue raspberry itself.
Oh.
First of all, who invented blue raspberry and why is that even a flavor?
The best
flavor.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Thank you to whoever invented that weird flavor.
Yes, it's the best flavor. And I mean, I just love this. I love that you get the energy, you get the caffeine. It's refreshing. It's a refreshing, delicious drink. Yeah. It's a real pick-me-up. This was just a great product. Yeah. We really enjoyed this product. We enjoyed all the flavors. I felt the difference. And I was like, okay, I guess we're advertising an energy drink. And here we are.
So unlock an easier, healthier way to fuel your day with Huel.
Nutritionally complete energy in minutes so you can focus on what really matters.
Right now, our Shandies get an exclusive 15% off with code Shandy at Huel.com.
Again, that's 15% off at Huel.com, HUEL.com, promo code Shandy. Okay, so now we have this special surprise, which is a video of greetings from everyone's family members, their children mostly. In one case, someone's mother. This was
really
lovely.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
Okay, and now we have the rose ceremony. Joan gives another great speech. I mean, she is so good at this. She tells them that they've already won because they've put it out there in a huge way.
Except for 6 of you.
6. That's...
I will say, and I said this to you during the show, I feel that on the golden version of this franchise, the people who get taken down night 1, that is a rough scene for them. That's brutal. I just
more
feel
so
like
than the normal.
More so than the normal show.
Yeah.
I really feel for them. Like that's not a good way to go.
Yeah, and there was a moment, so she hands out 12 roses, and then we get this commercial break where she seems overwhelmed. She needs to take a second. She leaves the room. And then she comes back and gives another speech about how grateful it is that she all put their lives on hold, blah, blah. And I think we all thought in this moment she was going to be like, so you're all moving into the mansion, like, and I'm going to just make a bigger cut next week, but like you're all joining me for this first round. But no. Nope.
No.
She only handed out another 5 roses, making it 18 total. So 6 men did go home. I thought for sure they were all going to get a participation award.
No, they went home.
Oh.
I feel bad. I think there's got to be some kind of smoothing out of night 1 on these golden shows. Like it hurts me.
Yeah. Physical pain.
Yeah.
That they don't get to at least experience. It's the sleepover factor, you know. It's not necessarily about Joan. Of course, it's about Joan. I get that it's about Joan, but it's also about the experience and the friendships and just this adventure, this once in a lifetime opportunity. And And they, they're sleeping in bunk beds, sharing bedrooms. These men in their 60s, like, would you not?
It's like they were this close to having like a real like resurgence of like a real youthful experience. You know what they should have on this show? They should have, what's the name of the place in Survivor where the losers go?
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa. They should have a Ponderosa.
They should.
How fun would that be? 6 guys who were rejected on night 1 all hanging out together in a house.
Oh, I would be into that.
Yeah, that's a spinoff. That's a whole show.
Yeah. No, it's true. And it would make me feel a lot better.
Yeah. It might not be the best show ever.
Oh.
But it's a segment. It's a segment at least.
I think it depends who's in there. So going home are Bill, David, Ken, Pablo, RJ, and Thomas.
Pablo. You could hack it at the UN, but not on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I know Pablo, I mean, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. Retired UN agency director. Kind of hardcore.
Maybe no smooth moves.
There's also Thomas, the FDNY police chief. I mean, the careers on these men is pretty impressive. Okay, so now we have a preview for the rest of the season. We hear but don't see Joan say to Mark, "I love you, Mark."
Like part of me is thinking this is a red herring.
Yeah, this felt red herring. But it's the kind of thing where they're making it seem like a red herring. It's a double psych.
It's not a red herring?
The fact we didn't see it come out of her mouth, "I love you, Mark." I don't know.
I don't know.
But I don't know if I'm just not taking Mark as seriously as I should because of the role he's playing. So he's the father of Kelsey. America fell in love with him. They want him to find love, blah, blah, blah.
Something tells me that Mark self-eliminates, but I don't know. Who knows?
I also wonder if Mark, they have pegged for future Golden Bachelor. So he's just...
Obviously. Yeah, and how is he a Golden Bachelor? Let's be honest here. This is not golden. He's silver at best. He's a silver bachelor.
So what is golden?
Golden, I think, is 65 or up. You have to be eligible for Medicare. Wait, is Medicare for 60? I forget.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad I don't know yet. But 65, I think.
Okay.
65 is senior. When you think of senior, when you're like, seniors like at a movie theater.
Yeah.
Seniors discount, it's 65.
Yeah.
It's not 59. It's not 60.
In that case, most of the people in the season are not truly golden.
Yeah, there's a lot of tarnished like bronze and silver. I'm not thrilled about that.
Okay. So Andy, that brings us to your A game. Who was your winner?
This is kind of maybe a little cheating, but I think Keith.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Keith came in like you got 100% Keith right there. There was no facade.
It's true. It's pretty remarkable for someone to really seem so themselves in this setting. Like it's easy to take for granted. We see this show season after season. We don't really think about it. Right. We don't think about, all the cameras in their faces and this environment. We're used to seeing the Le Crozettes in the kitchen of the Bachelor Mansion, right? But this is the first time they're doing any of this. And you add in the generation of not having grown up with reality TV and maybe not even watching this show for years. Keith was just like a dude. Like I felt like I knew who Keith was.
Yeah. Keith carries himself like a man who's been confident from the day he was born.
Yes, but not arrogant.
No, not remotely arrogant.
Yes.
He's a gentle giant. I think very, very tall, large, like giant men are often very gentle, very, very nice souls because they know the part of them that would be insecure about a lot of things doesn't exist because they know they could beat everyone in a fight. They know they're taller than everyone. They know they're bigger. So they can just focus on all the other stuff.
I think it can kind of go either way, honestly.
How many huge guys who are not nice?
I think that there are huge guys who are not nice.
Thomas.
Okay, so that brings us to the fashion. Oh, wait, so your A-game winner was, Keith. Okay, we got there. Okay, so the fashion. I want to put it out there right now. I don't plan on doing too much fashion this season. A, because I'm rehearsing all day, every day here, and I'm super overwhelmed. And B, I put a lot of time and effort in the fashion last season and didn't get a ton of I couldn't really tell if people cared.
Yeah. I care a little bit. And some people disagree with you.
People seem to notice when the fashion's missing, but then they don't seem to comment much when it is there. And I just sort of feel like it's a lot of extra work for me. So I'm just not gonna, I'll just mention it if something really stands out to me.
And I will say, I also sense a very hair down season.
And I don't really want to criticize that because I think Joan has amazing hair and I don't blame her if she wants to wear it down, even if I think it's going to look better up. I just don't want to be a broken record. And although I do think Joan, it does have great style, I'm not concerned about about the style itself.
Just talk about the things you like.
Yes.
That's it.
If something stands out to me.
And that doesn't mean anytime you don't talk about things, you don't like them. It's just something that really hits you.
Yes.
Okay. Settled.
Moving on. Okay, so Andy, word watch. Do you have a word for next week?
Grandkids.
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 Okay, so cannot be grandchildren.
Nope, can't be grandkid. Has to be grandkids.
Okay, plural grandkids. All right.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're the one who has to look out for it.
Do you approve of this word watch?
I do. Okay, so if you would like to join in the Shandy Word Watch fun and have a chance to win a great prize, a new prize this week, then you must guess the number of times you predict the word grandkids will be uttered in episode 2. You must guess by using the numeral of the number, so do not write out, for example, 2, you must use a 2. And you must do so by commenting either below this YouTube video or over on the Instagram post for this recap. You must do so by Monday at midnight.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
By Monday at midnight. And if you guess correctly, then you will be entered in a draw and then one name will be plucked and that person will win. Exciting prize, $200 to spend at Fungies. Fungies is one of our newest sponsors, and I just love Fungies so much. And I'm sad that we don't have them here because we had to pack really light. But Fungies are basically functional mushroom gummies. Fungies actually made functional mushroom gummies mainstream.
Oh yeah,
they're credited with doing
they're the
this.
Mavericks.
Yes, and by the way, these do not make you trip. These are not trip pea mushrooms.
Sorry to announce.
Yeah, they will more so help you with like energy and focus and stuff like that. So yeah, $200. Grandkids. All right, Andy, now that brings us to our predictions. And we don't know each other's predictions once again, because we thought this was fun. So we're going to do our 1, 2, 3, and say the name at the same time.
Yeah.
But we agreed this was really hard.
This is almost impossible.
I had such a hard time. I was rewatching clips, rewatching conversations, reading their little bios. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know.
It's brutal.
Because I like so many of them. There's like 8 guys I wanted to put in my predictions.
I know.
Okay. And plus, I'm going to be honest, we don't know Joan that well.
No.
We don't know like her person. Like we know that she's elegant, she's nice, she's kind, she's family oriented, all these things that I guess, like we understand why she was Crown Bachelorette. She's beautiful, all these things. But like, I don't know her type. Like her picking Keith was a huge piece of information.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
And she keeps it close to the vest, I'll be honest.
She does. She is
not giving a lot of tells.
Yeah, because she's also very polite and warm.
Controlled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she could have like 5 conversations with 5 different guys and you're like, wow, she likes them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do for first place 1, 2, 3 name. Okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3
Keith.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Not surprised.
No. Okay.
I mean, that's an easy one.
Yeah, first impression rose recipient. Although, I gotta say, Keith lives in California. Is this not gonna become a thing?
This might become a thing.
Yeah. But none of them, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shandy's, I don't think anyone lives in her state.
You know what? Let's just watch the show as if this isn't it. Let's ignore the elephant in the room. There's no elephant.
No, you're right. Here. It's also absurd to assume that because let's say 2 of them are from Maryland that they would work out just because they're from the same state.
You're like, oh, you're from the same state. All right, let's bang.
Yeah. Okay, in second place, 1, 2, 3, Guy. Okay, we both liked Guy.
Yeah, this is apparently easier than we thought.
Yeah, Guy. The guys who I chose are really like the young at heart kinds. I think she really wants
fun.
She
wants light, fun, smart, and
adventurous.
Yeah,
right. Like spontaneous.
Exactly. Spontaneous,
yeah, she wants someone who feels young. Like I like that. And Guy really came off that way to me. Okay, in third.
Hold on. Okay.
1, 2, 3,
Mark.
Dan.
I'm going for it.
Okay.
I'm going for it.
Mark.
Yeah, I know. I felt that's the one I felt the most uneasy about. But I feel like it's kind of not fair. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on.
Sorry, I had to refresh myself on who Mark was. Okay, so Mark is Kelsey's father. Yeah. I'm really and this might be my undoing with my predictions. I feel like Mark is kind of
he's a plant.
Yeah, he kind of feels like a gimmick.
For the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, like they used him as the preview. Because here's my thing about Mark. I think Mark is super sincere. I think he's super romantic.
Almost too sincere. Almost too sincere.
We said that in our Bachelorette finale. We were like, wow, that was one sincere limo exit.
Yeah.
And I think he's so handsome. He's so perfect.
Oh.
But what I'm missing with Mark is that like fun factor.
Yeah. You know what? I got to
spark.
You know what I want Mark? This is, and I think I may have said this before. What I want Mark as is the character in the movie who like lives in the woods, minds his own business. Like he actually did also lose his wife previously in life. So he kind of like, just retreated to the woods. He chops wood all day. He lives with a couple of big dogs, lights fires, enjoys himself, his alone time. And then the CIA comes to him one day and they're like, listen, Mark, I know you've been out of service for a long time, but we need you for a special mission. And he's like, I don't do that anymore. I sit in my cabin and I light my fires and play with my dogs.
Yeah.
And like, well, it's for your country. And they leave and they come back. And then he's like, finally, he goes back. He's like, okay, I'll do it. And that's the Mark I want.
So this is like that actor.
I want the Rambo Mark. I want him in a Rambo role.
I'm thinking if there's an actor who does that kind of
Sylvester Stallone?
No. It's
Schwarzenegger?
No. He, Taken.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want him more Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
I want my Mark full Liam Neeson.
Okay.
I don't know if I want him Golden Bachelorette. I don't know if I want the romantic Mark.
Yeah.
But I do still think he's a contender. And I do think in the end, he will self-eliminate.
Self-eliminate?
That's what I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe we should take a timestamp of this moment to maybe include later on, Andy, if you're proven right.
I mean, this will be a heavy prediction.
Yeah, seriously. Okay. Yeah, Mark, I confess I see him more as a gimmick, and that really could just be me being blinded by all the hoopla around Mark being Mark. But he just doesn't feel like... I think Joan has a serious side to her, and her fun side is brought out with a more boisterous, fun kind like Keith. And so I just don't, I think Mark is too similar to Joan in that sense, personally, based on very little information. So I actually have Dan. Dan was the one where he was like, oh, we're having a nice moment. And they both just started laughing. And something about that moment where they both started laughing for really no reason. They just saw the humor in like the tone. It was so specific. It was so subtle what they were laughing about. But the fact that they both laughed about that together, to me, I was like, that's someone, like she speaks his language.
Also the fact that she remembered he was from Naples.
Yeah.
I mean, that says something.
Does it?
Generally, I don't remember people are from Florida. I forget that pretty quickly. But she knew it was Naples.
Yeah.
She was listening.
Yeah.
Very, very intensely.
Okay.
Can you not see Mark as an action hero? I think he'd be great.
Are we back to Mark?
He's probably not a good actor. I feel like a guy like Mark can't be a good actor. Because if he was a good actor, he would be in movies. He'd be an action hero, right?
I think he's been kind of busy raising his 5 children.
You think he just doesn't like acting?
I mean, I think.
So you think he had a lot to do? But I mean, he didn't start raising kids when he was 20. He could have been going to acting classes at 20.
I think Mark's been busy.
You think so? Yeah, no time for acting.
Real life, supporting his family.
Oh, yeah, that stuff. Right.
Okay, so now 4th place. Are you ready?
I am ready.
1, 2, 3.
Dan.
Michael. Oh, okay. So Dan made it through.
So we have a shockingly similar top 4.
Yeah. Okay, so Dan, do you have any separate reasons from me?
No.
Okay, exactly what I said.
Exactly what you said.
Okay, meanwhile, Michael, for me, Michael was the one with the photo album of his plants. And this was, I was debating, okay, so Michael and my wild card.
Don't say it yet.
I know, we're interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because I understand that Michael's a wild card. I realize this. I think Michael could swing one way or the other. The fact that mainly his one-on-one time was him showing his plants, like I think that could mean either like he has dark horse potential or he's just like, that was it. He loves his plants.
Either way, I'm down with Michael.
Yeah, I just found him so endearing. He didn't get too much airtime, but he just had like this sort of nice...
Also, ex-CEO of a bank.
Oh, what does that mean?
He's got means. and he doesn't have to talk about it.
And his retirement, he's just talking about how blue his flowers are.
Let me tell you something. A guy who shows you a book of his garden and talks about how blue his flowers are, that guy has money.
Maybe that's not a concern for Joe. It is really funny though. But I thought the direction you were going in was that guy, you know, he spent his life dealing with numbers, money, CEO, blah, blah, blah. And then in his retirement, he's watering his plants. It's not about, but you made it about money. I'm not making it about money. I'm making it about something greater. Like
he broke through the money. Yes. He has so much money.
No, it's not about money.
He's so rich. He's so dripping with money that he's like, the only thing I can do is have a book of my garden.
Oh my God. It's like the king in, what was it called? That show, Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Where he said like his retirement is just about love, art, and garden.
Yeah.
That's what life's all about.
And the amazing thing is he had everything wrong in his life. He was a broken man, never to be fixed. He's a disaster. Yeah. But he's 100% right about those three things.
Yeah. Love, art, garden.
That's it. That's all. If you get that at the end, you're set.
I will confess another reason. This was just like what sort of tipped Michael into my top 4 and not as my wild card is the fact that he is in North Carolina. And I was like, that's closer than some.
That's true.
It's so sad.
That's a short Amtrak.
It's so sad. That was a factor. He lives in Denver, North Carolina.
Denver, North Carolina. Like what's his name? Who lives in Jonathan? Who lives in Oakland, Iowa? Oh wait,
was it Jonathan?
Was it Iowa? I don't even know what state. Was it? It was Oakland. What was it?
Oakland, Iowa. You're right.
Oh,
good
Oakland,
memory.
Iowa. Wow, that was a good callback. Yeah. Oakland. Where are you from? Oakland, Iowa.
I mean, you could say the same.
Where are you from? Denver, North Carolina.
Naples.
No, that's Florida. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, it's a different one, but yeah.
Okay.
Or Manhattan, Kansas.
Why does that never get old?
I don't know. Something.
I want more. Shandy's. Comment with more. I love these. Yeah. They're so funny.
They're great.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's Springfield, and that could be anywhere.
Yes.
Not sure why I said that.
Okay. We're getting giggly. Okay, so now let's get to our wild cards. I was debating.
I'm going to cheat on this one. And I don't care what you say, I'm cheating.
What do you mean cheat?
I'm just cheating.
How do you cheat?
Just know that I'm going to be cheating.
Oh, you're doing 2?
I'm doing 2.
I'm doing 2 too.
Oh, so we're both cheating. I respect that. Okay. I had a feeling, we're very similar. I had a feeling you'd want to do 2, and I'm so glad because now I don't feel bad about doing 2.
I felt like I couldn't. I was not going to allow myself to because I felt like it was cheating. And then just now I'm like, well, whose rules are we abiding by?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a boss. I mean, technically, they're our boss. It's the people, our constituents.
Yes. Okay. So we have 2 wild cards each. Do we want to name them one after another, or
no? Just one, like Joe Schmo.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Wild card.
And we're going 1, 2, 3. Say the first name. Okay. So it's the same rhythm as the numbers. 1, 2, 3. Joe Schmo. Name.
Yes. Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jonathan Michael.
Jordan.
Oh. My prediction didn't come true.
Oh, did you pull Michael in there just because I had him in my top 4?
Who do you think you are? You think you own Michael? You think that I put the guy who has a book of garden pictures in my top because you had him?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Okay, so we both have Jonathan as our wild card. I confess Jonathan would have been higher for me if he didn't live in Iowa. I'm sorry. I'm letting geography start to play a role in my predictions. You can't blame me. Look what happened last year.
That's fine.
Okay, this matters. Okay, so we both have Jonathan. I like Jonathan. He seems fun.
Yeah.
He seems spontaneous.
Sexy.
He is. I feel like
youthful.
Very, very, very robust. Mm-hmm. And it does also seem like he's itching for adventure. Yeah. Like I feel like yes, he's in Oakland, Iowa, and he seems to feel limited. I mean,
he basically said, look, I'm kind of stuck in this small town.
But, he said family's everything. Family's everything.
He sacrificed. He talked about sacrifice.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that sacrifice was Oakland. Iowa.
Oh, I don't think it was alluded to. I think he straight up said that.
Nothing against Oakland, Iowa. I don't know anything about the people of Oakland, Iowa.
The whole,
you think there are any Shandys in Oakland, Iowa?
I don't know, but his whole hometown package was not a good ad for Oakland, Iowa.
It was not. You know what? If there are any Shandys in Oakland, Iowa, please let us know. Yeah. Don't let us down. I want to know, first for my own feeling good about myself, is if I have a Shandy in Oakland, Iowa, I'll know we've made it. Oh. And no offense again. No offense again. I want to know.
We keep dissing Oakland,
I don't
Iowa.
mean to. I don't know anything about Oakland, Iowa. Yeah. I barely know that much about Oakland. Okay. Although I did kind of live basically there for like 6 months. Anyway, Oakland, Iowans, tell us, is Oakland, Iowa a good time? Or are you also not happy with Oakland, Iowa? I would like to know. Okay.
So Jonathan, we agree on that. I do feel like Jonathan might be willing to like relocate for some of the year or something. I don't know. I got a vibe from Jonathan that he was like wanting to break free from his small town limitations.
And also, if there was an action movie with Mark, Jonathan would be his guy who he calls up. He's like, I got a job and I need you. And that guy also says, you know, I don't do this anymore. So it's him. It goes down the line. But in the end, they both do the job.
Okay. So next, Michael, do you want to explain Michael? Or is it the same things that I've said?
Michael is he's very rich. He has a book he has a book of plants. I mean, the guy he's a sweetheart.
And rich.
Yeah, and rich. Did I mention that?
Okay, so Jordan, I put in as a wild card. I have mixed feelings about Jordan. I do think he comes off as a little neurotic, and I think that might end up sabotaging him, but I do feel like he's sweet. Like Jordan has a real sweetness. You know, Jordan felt really youthful to me. Yeah. Really youthful. Yeah. In a good way. Like he doesn't feel 60. I think he's 61.
No, he feels youthful. I agree.
It's crazy how youthful he seems.
You've got a soft spot for Jews.
Are you sure he's Jewish?
Like 90%.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. I do. I mean, I do have a soft spot for Jews. I love Jewish men. I can admit it. Yeah.
It's okay.
No,
it's okay.
No shame.
First thing is admitting it.
I liked his face. I liked his demeanor.
No, he seems great. He was my like runner wild card. He was after my 2 wild cards.
He has just such a great commentary. Yeah. He's that guy he's the everyman. He's the guy who's like, if you wound up on this show, you're Jordan. You're sort of like, what am I doing here? Like, oh my God, my limo exit. What the hell is going on? He's like self-editing while he's there. And I feel like that could either swing way against him or way for him. Yeah. I don't know Joan's tastes well enough yet to know. But I like Jordan, and so he's my wild card.
I agree with you. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I like how sad he was about his limo exit. That's how I would have been.
Totally. Yeah. Even though I think it was working against him. Yeah. I was like, stop it.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a wrap, Andy.
That's it.
I have a rehearsal to run to.
All right. Important business.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends. Very important.
Tell them. Even your friends in Oakland, Iowa. Tell them.
And generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We cannot wait to follow along this season with you, and we will see you next time on Dear Shandy.
Oh, not a second here. So this is kind of not fair because I don't have a lot of room in that chair. This is kind of bullshit. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out here on the edge. Oh, Ruby, what do you got here? What do you got over here? Look at this.
Oh, yeah, that was got way more space.
This is cheating.
Oh.
Ruby.
She wants more
Ruby,
peanut butter.
come on, right here. This is a good spot. Oh, come on. Yeah, you know it. No, come on, come back, right here. Good. Yay. Yay.
Okay, and generally do all the things you do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.